Efecto Cascada.
Un podcast de Explore.
Right, so dear Splutters, welcome once again to Efecto Cascada. This is a podcast where we dive into the forefront of innovation, share insights from entrepreneurs, and, well, uncover cascade-funding opportunities. As you all know, in each episode we explore the latest trends into the digital stream and the arts. But today, we're coming at you from the heart of creativity and innovation, along with technology, SLUSH Helsinki 2024 edition. It's just a great opportunity to get to know amazing entrepreneurs, artists, and get to have the very first feelings and touches from the next current of technology that's coming for 2025. So in this special episode, we're spotlighting on the dynamic intersection of music, technology, and education. We've brought together two amazing women entrepreneurs who are pushing boundaries in their fields. So get ready to dive into the future of music, where AI actually meets talent, development, and innovative EdTech, and is transforming the next music wave that we're about to get to know. So get ready and stay with me if you don't want to miss any details. All right, Splutter, so welcome once again to Efecto Cascada. Today we're here with Kimberly Dickson, and she's a founder of HyperTribe, the world's first AI music manager designed to help emerging talent build our fan base. With 15 years of experience in the music industry and a strong commitment to supporting women entrepreneurs in music, Kimberly has dedicated her career to empower artists and offer new opportunities to them. So welcome, Kimberly. How are you?
Thanks for having me. Yeah, it's been a long day at SLUSH, but
how's the event so far?
it's been great. I'm really impressed by the event production, actually.
I know, right?
It's been absolutely amazing.
Beautiful.
It's such a different experience as well than seeing it in photos.
How was the trip, by the way? Because you come from the UK, right?
Yeah, I came from the UK, so we came with Innovate UK. So we're part of the cohort from the UK government that has an innovation arm, and they are showcasing the best creative tech companies from the UK. So we're one of 17 companies that have been selected.
Wow,
and so
congrats.
We've come with the whole cohort too. So, I mean, in different sectors,
That's
film
awesome.
and so on, but yeah.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, so could you please introduce yourself a bit to the audience and maybe share a bit about your background?
Sure. So I'm Kimberly Dickson, whichever one. And so my experience is 15 years in music. My background, so where I started was actually my first role was in the music industry was with Psycho Sony, so Simon Cowell's lot. And then I ended up in a place with different roles, from events to management to running a studio for 10 years and so on. So I've seen different angles of the industry, but I always really wanted to make sure that we could do something at scale for especially the developing artist sector, because I just saw the way in which you can give advice to those musicians can really support in terms of their career. So that was a really big spot for me. Yeah.
So you have the big picture, and you aim to give some advice to the end user.
I mean, I was working with a lot of musicians, and I just saw that there were certain things in terms of strategy that seemed to just help them take off. And so I just thought, how do we do this at scale? And I always really wanted to make sure that we could have an impact for the developing talent, because I think when you get to like the major artists, a lot of the time it's a lot of paper pushing, and people don't really understand that. It's not as exciting as building, and I think anyone who has their own company that's obviously listening probably can understand or have that same affiliation of affinity with like being able to, create a company or build that building element is really, really exciting. I really love that.
Yeah, it's great to hear your perspective.
Yes,
you've heard all of it. All right, and talking challenges, because you've been in many phases and departments. How have the challenges you've observed shaped your commitment to supporting emerging artists?
Oh my gosh, there's been so many challenges. I mean, there's different challenges that I don't know if this is by territory, but I can definitely tell you what happens in the UK. And I think one of the biggest challenges that we've all been looking at in terms of the music tech sector has been a lot around funding, and that generally speaking, investors are a bit skeptical to invest into music tech, I found. So that as an industry, and bringing awareness about how valuable it really is and why they should invest into the sector is actually really important. I think anything from challenges around being female founder, but also being a woman in the music industry is also, that's a huge subject I'm really passionate about, which is why we run a lot of women in music programs as well. And we're 72% female as a community. It's really, really important to me because there are a lot more challenges that happen there, but the outcome and the output is usually, two times. Pretty much. They're just saying, we're 30% more likely as founders as well to deliver on projections. So at a talk I was just at, but I think that also there's a lot of undiscovered talent in the music industry in particular that I think is also there's a lot of systemic issues that I have seen come through. And if we can nurture a little bit more of that talent, imagine how much bigger this industry could really be in the ecosystem
For
too.
sure.
Yeah,
we can bring new genres, we can bring new ideas to the music industry as well. Yeah,
exactly.
All right, and you've been a strong advocate for women, especially in music.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the importance of creating spaces and opportunities for women in the music industry?
I just think it's so underrated, and I think that's one thing. Everything from safety to the bottom line of the music industry, meaning in how much music we're creating and how much value, and if we can't ignore a whole sector, and 20% of artists signed to major labels are female. I'm not saying that obviously major labels are the end goal, everyone has their journey, and I think it's becoming more common practice not to sign with a major label because, to be quite honest with you, I feel like they're moving into a space where they're acting as VCs rather than anything else. But what I do find is that that statistic in itself is a massive, is a good representation across the board of opportunities, even on the business side, all the way through to we're just missing a lot of talent, full stop. So the split coming out of music schools is 50-50. So in my mind, I'm well, where on earth is this talent going? And don't get me wrong, there are also other things outside of systemic issues that I think we have to talk about, which is how do we support mothers that are musicians in the music industry? That's also a huge other subject. So my background as well is that I have a master's in international law, and my last dissertation was on how international law undermines the gender pay gap. So I did a lot of research into how different countries are being able to manage that gender pay gap, and it's just fascinating. And I think it relates back to so much of the stuff that we even do in music, because you're looking at systemic issues in territories and government, which has a lot of red tape. And then you're also looking at that. You've got 3 major labels there that can definitely have a huge impact about how they develop and nurture new talent. But I would say, from my perspective, that there's a reluctancy, but I don't know why that. Well, there's always reasons why, but I think we need to nurture more of it, for sure. Yeah.
Right, so HyperTribe.
Yeah.
Please tell us all the details about it and what it's about, essentially.
Yeah. Okay. So HyperTribe. So it's a music manager is essentially what we put it down as, and that's usually actually the investor pitch, because maybe they're getting a bit fatigued by AI now, but it caught a lot of attention and made them read the deck, to be quite honest with you. But really, it's a community too. So that's one of our biggest defenses, is that we've been able to build this really nice community of musicians across 15 different countries, and so we're starting to be able to create the connections around that, which is really important. And I think with HyperTribe and what we've been able to do, a lot of the artists can now really understand what their personal journey is. So that was the biggest thing, was that your location, your stage, your genre, you can start to understand what's right for you. Most artists want to be in the studio, right? They want to be creating. They are creators, and they also don't necessarily, this isn't everybody, but they don't necessarily have the business know-how. And so it's about being able to develop. I look at it like we're developing small startups. That's all that we're doing, really. Small businesses, exactly. So but it's being able to give them the tools to also empower themselves to be able to get onto a sustainable income. That's what it's all about. We say the 1,000 true fans. So true fan being someone that's going to spend over $100 with you every single year. But what we're looking at is the ways in which we can help strategize to find the right platforms. The other thing that we find is that, generally speaking, musicians aren't that great at finding new technology. Not all of them, but generally speaking. And so there might be a better way for you. So we just want to open up choice, which I'm hoping will breed transparency a little bit in the industry, and then also be able to help with the things like the knock-on effect of diversity and change as well for the better. Yeah.
And talking challenges again, has HyperTribe gone through any while getting off the ground?
Yeah, all the time. Like we always go through so many, challenges. I don't think it ever stops, I think to anyone who's like watching this that may be thinking about starting a business, like it's tough. Like, and I think I'm quite resilient. So whenever anyone used to say to me, oh, business is hard, business is tough. I used to always be like, yeah, but I feel like I can handle more than the average person.
Handle it.
No, but like what they don't tell, and I don't mind hard work. I don't think it's the hard work that's the problem. I think it's the pressure. I think, you've got to be able to have a steady hand. And I think that's really difficult when you're going through emotional roller coaster all the time. Your day can be great in the morning and, get one message and it can, but I mean, obviously that's riding the emotional roller coaster, and then you find the coping mechanisms to be able to deal with that. So from a founder perspective, that's how it's been. From a company perspective, I've generally found that we always overcome it. Like, I think we've got a really good team, and I'm really proud of like even the last 3 weeks. We've got 100 artists every single week signing up on the wait list at the moment. Like it's just nuts.
Awesome.
And so they're now converting to pre-orders too, which is really exciting. But we fundraising was a big one actually. That's a great challenge for the music sector. Difficult, really difficult. We were very lucky to have a music tech VC in Denmark. But, we're always looking for angels, like, strategic angels, people who can add value to the business. And finding them is hard because they don't go, I'm a music tech investor. They're usually someone who made their money elsewhere that really loves music.
Yeah,
and
it's not your usual industry to go for.
Yeah,
for
exactly.
Yeah.
And look at all our angels, we have they're banking, education, like just random, but they all freaking love music.
Right.
Just love music.
At the end of the day, everyone loves music.
Yeah.
But you're here in SLUSH to prove everyone wrong.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
Okay,
Yeah.
Kimberly. I mean, AI is becoming a really big player, as you said, in all sorts of companies and industries. But on your side, what trends or technologies excite you the most regarding music industry for the next 5 years?
I have to look into this because I have not verified this, but someone told me the other day that what they did was so freaking genius. Like, so they're now getting sued by the major labels. And I thought, and someone said to me, oh, don't worry, it will go away. And I thought, what? That's crazy. And what they did is that they put in their terms and conditions that as you go in and you create the music, you as the user become liable for the creation. So if the major labels wanted to sue, they have to sue every single user, and that would cost them billions to do. So they were super clever, and whether it's morally right, like it's a completely different issue. But from my side, I was like, it was a genius move. I'm not saying it's the right move. I'm just saying it was a genius. From a business perspective, you can respect it. You're like, that was pretty sneaky and well done, because they outsmarted the major labels to be able to use all their materials to be able to train the model. So that I found interesting.
All right, and Kimberly, what advice would you give to emerging artists, especially women, who are trying to develop their career in the music industry?
First of all, I think a lot of musicians, generally speaking, and I think women are a bit more likely to do this, is they work in silo. So they work completely alone and they do not connect. And I appreciate that that's probably a little bit of imposter syndrome, and there's a lot of stuff there, but you have to connect and you have to find like a tribe. Like, this is why they're called HyperTribes. Like, you have to find people to connect with and start connecting, even if you don't think you're ready. Like, it's feel the fear and do it anyway is like one of my like biggest like mantras that I always like run by, which is like, you're never going to be ready. Like, just keep going. And I can probably tell you some of the traits that I see from people that, one of the artists that charted last year, like I can tell you why people like that are successful is because, first of all, they're insatiably creative. Like, they are all about saying something, being different. And the music industry loves different. Like okay, no, that's a lie. They they like slightly familiar with a bit of a twist is probably like, it's like, I kind of recognize it, but like, oh, this is kind of new. Like they want something that,
They want to be impressed constantly.
Exactly, yeah. So there's a little bit there. And then I would also definitely say connect as much as you can and get some strategy. Like the strategy, most people think putting your music on Spotify is it. There is, and what we find, we did a huge survey, the artists that are getting into the industry think that they know everything. Like they think they know way more than if you've got like a middle tier artist that's developed. They're like, I know nothing.
No way.
So they rate on that. We did, and apparently I was told the other day, this is actually a whole theory, like that actually if you start a subject, you think you know a lot more than you do. But the music industry,
I know that meme. Yeah, it's like fair books.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's Kruger effect or something. Someone was telling me the other day, they said that, no, Kimmy, that's actually a real theory. But that is one thing I would say is like, don't assume you know everything. Start digging into it and start understanding and get out there. Start doing, because you will only learn by doing as much as you can. Yeah.
For sure. And partnering and networking, because you never know, maybe your crazy idea can become true if you meet the right person. Right?
Yeah, of course. And sorry, I want the one piece of really important advice that I would say is that that something that's changed in the last 5 years is that don't let anybody feel like that they have shotgun over your career. Like you should never feel like someone has power over you. Like that was one of the most important pieces of advice. And I was just talking to a friend of mine about it last night as well, he's very well connected in the music space. Never let anyone feel like they have power over you, because you have choice. They might not let you see that you have choice, but you definitely do. And so for every woman that's out there, because I feel like most people get into situations where they feel like, oh, well, I need this hit song. So like, you know, they're being a bit letchy, I'll just let them kind of like, and they violate those boundaries and like, you don't have to do, like the industry has changed. And I'm more than happy for people to reach out to me if they need more choice, basically. Like just email me.
Yeah, but it's true. I mean, in a corporate world, right? You're mostly surrounded as well by many people who maybe are not as empathic or it's for a fact. There's many studies, but let's hope that bit by bit we bring our morals onto the table and try to make it fair. Right?
And it's your power, and that will affect every aspect of your life if you don't hold on to that. Like, you know, if you're feeling awkward and it doesn't feel right, don't do it. Just don't do it.
Yeah, believe in yourself, in your work, and somehow it's manifested.
Exactly. I really agree with that.
Law of attraction. All right, Kimberly, and where can our audience learn about your work, follow you on social media? Can you tell us a bit?
So our website is hypertribe.com. I'm sure, can we, you know, I don't know if you've got any links or anything. And, you know, feel free to drop me an email. I think there's an email address on there somewhere on the website as well under contact. So you're more than happy to reach out. And obviously join the wait list. I probably think that we'll have that wait list for a while now. But it's good, you know, I'm glad we're in demand. And then follow us on Instagram at hyper_tribe. And then I'm Kimmy Dickson on on Instagram, which is KIMI Dickson. Yeah. Cool.
So explorers, make sure to follow all the way, and let's continue. So we've reached the last part of the episode, which is, let's say, a little game and tradition we have.
Okay.
So first off, you're going to have to answer a question from the previous guest.
Okay.
And then you'll have the ball yourself, and you're going to pass it on to the next one. Okay.
Yeah.
So you ready to know your question? All right. So today we're talking challenges once again. So your question comes from Oliver Simon from K5. And he said, what has your biggest challenge been? Well, describe it a bit. And how did you overcome it?
Personally,
professionally, as you wish.
Personally, like building a startup, my biggest challenge has definitely been around mental health. I think people underestimate that, and I think it's really, really important to take care of that and finding mechanisms to be able to do that. For me, I overcame that. I mean, it's always ongoing, but I definitely manage it a lot better than things like looking after yourself. Again, like not letting people take your power when you feel like this is the only investor. I'm like, I've completely come out of that now. I'm like, look, if you're gonna invest, you're gonna invest. Like if you're not, you're not. You know, give me a
it's your loss.
Give me a yes or no. Exactly. I feel like, you know, we've got something really good and we've got something, you know, that's difficult. But I wish I had that earlier. that confidence there. And I would definitely say like the gym has like been a lifesaver. Like that's and diet,
Good
like
way.
sleep, diet, like normal stuff. Keep hydrated. Don't drink too much coffee. Definitely don't do drugs. Like one of those kind of things. You know, sorry if I'm not allowed to say it, but like no, those kind of things are really, really important. I think
Right.
people just really skip over them sometimes because you're building a business, so you got to be on all the time. And don't get me wrong, like even SLUSH is really, really difficult. Like on you as a founder, and there's so much pressure. But you know, at the end of the day, you can only do what you can do, and that's it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Let me add to your comments. I would say just know when to stop.
Yeah.
'Cause you need to stop. You need to have a life. You need to have, to unwind.
Yeah, yeah.
Because
I would agree.
I'd say that founders get to immerse themselves onto
Yeah.
the work. I mean, there's always going to be a lot of workload, but
course.
just take care of yourself because you're the
course.
mean.
Yeah,
right?
of course. Yeah, otherwise you hit burnout, and then you can't help anyone. So
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
All right, Kimberly, could you share with us a fun fact about yourself? Either yourself, your any experience if you'd like to.
I'm trying to like think of something really positive. So
Take your time.
something fun about me. I don't know. I love art. Like I really love painting and I love art. Like I'm a big fan of art, but I don't let it come into business, or I never wanted to monetize. Like that's my little like corner of the world, and I'm like a really big respect. Like I love Turner. Like Turner is one of my favorite artists ever. So yeah, that's probably a fun fact, I guess. I mean, something I like. Yeah.
Yeah,
Art.
it is.
Love art.
Okay, and what's your
Yeah.
question for the next guest?
My question for the next person is, what is the fire that keeps you going?
Nice.
I'd be interested to know if it's positive or negative, meaning fear, or is it something positive?
But let's hope it's something positive. 'Cause
Yeah, I think
otherwise,
it will be something
yeah,
positive. But yeah, it's really
that's the
interesting to
thing.
know what people's drives are. Yeah. Keeps them going when
Okay.
times get tough.
So
Thank
let's
you.
see. I'll let
Yeah.
you know the answer from the next guest.
Fantastic.
And we will.
Thank you.
All right. So thank you very much, Kimberly,
Brilliant.
for taking your time and sharing all of your
Likewise.
story with us. It was
Yeah,
great.
you're
Thank
welcome. Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah. So make sure to follow her on social media and HyperTribe. All right, explorers. So welcome once again to Efecto Cascada. Today we're joined by Chen Qu, the co-founder and CEO of Bravori, a Finnish EdTech startup that's revolutionizing music education. So with a background as a concert pianist and music educator, Chen has blended her passion for music with technology to create an app that motivates children and music teachers alike in their learning and practice. So let's get started. Welcome, Chen. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. Yeah.
That's great. So could you introduce yourself a bit to the audience?
Okay,
Maybe
yeah.
share a bit about your background?
Yeah. Okay. So my name is Chen. It's my first time in SLUSH. I'm a concert pianist and a music educator. I graduated with a master degree from the Sibelius Academy in Finland. It's the
Right.
University of the Arts Helsinki. Yeah. So besides that, I'm also a CEO and co-founder of my own startup company, Bravori.
Awesome. That's impressive, honestly,
you.
let me tell you.
Thank you.
All right. And could you tell us what inspired you to dive into the intersection of, music and then education? Right?
Yeah, so basically, I'm also a piano teacher, and I have piano teacher colleagues. So during our teaching, we found a common problem, and we were trying to find a solution to solve this problem. And that inspired me to combine the music education and technology together, because we want to find a solution to help the teacher to teach better and motivate the students to practice more.
All right. So tell us a bit about Bravori, please, like all the details. And what is
So
it
very
about?
exciting. We just launched our MVP this month, beginning of this month, and we received quite a lot of like positive feedback. So basically, the app works with two interface. So one is for teacher, and the other one is for students. So a teacher can assign the task and leave their teaching notes on teacher side, and the students will receive all this information automatically from their side. So once they at home, they can start practicing with teacher's notes and the guidance. And after their practicing session, they can also leave their feedback, and this information will automatically be sent to the teacher. So basically, we're trying to complete this feedback loop between the teacher and students. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it could even work remotely, right?
Yes, it is working
is all
remotely. Yeah,
remotely.
yeah, that's the
Fully.
point because I don't know whether you've taken some lessons before, some instrumental
Yeah,
lessons
yeah,
before.
yeah,
Yeah,
actually,
so
yeah.
basically, yeah, you take the lesson basically once every week, right?
Mhm.
About 45
Yeah.
minutes or 30
Yeah.
minutes. And the rest of the time, your teacher will probably ask you to go back home and practice on your own. So what we're trying to do is that we try to guide the students what to do during the time that they are not with their teacher. So make it more efficient for the
Yeah,
students.
that's very important because sometimes, as a, well, I used to take violin classes,
Oh,
for example.
great. Yes, yes.
But that's true. Like sometimes you don't even rehearse till the day before.
Exactly. So
or-
we try to avoid that kind of situation for the
Right.
students. So they don't do it last minute. So they do it systematically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so you've had a fascinating career and performing in stage to funding a tech startup. Have your experiences in personally in music and well, education and learning experiences influence the creation and developments Bravori?
Oh yes, of course. I mean, I am a professional concert pianist. I'm also teaching, so I'm in this field. So I realize their pain points. So our solution, I believe, is really helpful for both teacher and students. So we're trying to make an impact in the music education scene. Yeah.
Right. And for example, what challenges have you faced in the creation of Bravori?
Yes, so as I introduce a lot of my background, you can see that it's heavily in music education scene and music stuff. So I'm not a technical founder. So because we are developing an app, so all the technical stuff is the most challenging part for me. But luckily, we found a technical expert in the team. So yeah, this person is helping a lot with like developing, putting our idea into like real product.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
very
good.
thankful. Yeah.
So you're the thinking mind and he's
Yeah,
the
I'm putting the pedagogical framework, and then the technical person will help me to like put it into a real product. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And for example, has securing funding for your project been a challenge? Have you tried?
Yeah. I mean, currently we are at a pre-revenue stage, and we've been bootstrapped, but we are doing pilot testing at this point, and after this we will provide some results, and we are trying to reach
Right.
some investment, looking for some public funding and also investment.
I imagine.
Yes.
All right. And well, how does Bravori set itself apart, would you say, from any other traditional music education, methods or EdTech solutions
Yeah.
that might
So,
be the
in my opinion, like music industry, especially like classical music teaching, is kind of still in a traditional stage. So, like 100 years ago, we were teaching this way, and 100 years later, we're still teaching the same way. So, this kind of problem has been existed for a very long time. So, we want to find a solution to solve this problem. And the thing is that we are not trying to replace the teacher, because nowadays there's many apps they are trying to replace the teacher. But I think for young kids, especially for beginners, it's not really practical for them to just face a small screen and start learning from screen. They might lose interest very quickly, or they will like be distracted from other things. Yeah. So that's like our key difference. We are not replacing the teacher. We are helping the teacher and motivate the students.
Yeah. So you'd say that the learning curve has way more success rates than.
Yeah, I mean, to keep the students' interest, I think, it's important.
Yeah. And where do you see Bravori and yourself as well in the next 5 years?
Oh, that's a tough question. Yeah, of course, I would like to say that we're hoping that this app can go internationalized, and so for global users.
Alright.
Yeah, so trying to help as much as music teachers and students as possible. Yeah.
Okay, Chen, and as a female founder in the tech space, what's your perspective on the importance of supporting women entrepreneurs, and what advice would you give to women looking to enter into this field?
Yeah, I mean, from my perspective now that in this ecosystem, I think there's more and more female founders appearing. Like the number has been increasing all these years, and it's really like encouraging for me because for me, I never thought that I could be like a female founder. These terms, but it just happened.
Yeah.
So it's really like it's a challenging journey, but it's also inspiring. Yeah.
Would you say it's worth it?
Yes,
to
it's
give it a
definitely.
try.
Yes, yes.
So congratulations on
Oh,
giving
thank
this
you.
step. Yeah,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
it's very admiring.
Yeah,
honestly.
thank you.
Okay, and finally, Chen, where can our audience learn about your projects and maybe follow you on social media?
Yeah.
Would you like to share it?
Yes, we are on LinkedIn, we are on Facebook, Instagram, all kinds of social media. So just search Bravori, then you can follow our latest updates. Yeah.
Okay, so now we've reached the last part of the episode.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have a bit of a game here,
Yeah.
a tradition.
Yeah.
So first you're gonna have to answer a question from the previous guests, and then you'll be the one raising the question from the next.
Exciting.
Okay,
Yes.
you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so she actually comes as well from the music industry.
Oh, that's great.
And
Okay.
but anyways, she didn't knew that you were gonna be the one coming.
Okay.
But
yeah. I hope it's
yeah.
not a burning question.
No, it's not. It's not. Well,
Okay.
actually, if we
Depends.
talk about fire, she said,
Okay,
"What's
okay.
the fire that ignites your passion to keep working on what you love?"
Okay. Yeah, I would say that I love teaching and I love music. So, what motivates me to keep going is that I want to see the improvement in music industry. I want to see the improvement in my students. Yeah, I want to see that music become their lifelong learning friend. Yeah, that's basically like my goal since the beginning of my teaching career.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
I forgot to say, by the way, she's Kimberly Dickson from HyperTribe.
Okay.
And she's a women founder as well
Mm.
of HyperTribe. And this is about, it's the first AI music manager for emerging artists to create their fan base.
Oh,
So
nice.
yeah,
Okay,
it's
interesting.
pretty
Yes, yes.
inspiring.
Yeah.
All right, and what's your question for the next guest?
Wow, I prepared a pretty tough one.
Okay, go ahead.
Do you think that your company will become the next unicorn company, and why?
Oh, yeah. Let's
I
see
hope
what
that's-
thoughts does the next guest.
Yeah. I hope that's all right.
Yeah, it's great. It's
And I'm
perfect.
excited to know about the answer.
I mean, being here in SLUSH, there's lots of founders
Yeah.
emerging.
Yeah. Even SLUSH is it's an event created by local Finns.
Oh,
This
really?
event. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's created by I think from Aalto University students or
Okay.
something. It's related to the university.
Well, it's huge now.
Yeah,
like,
it's
there's
huge,
people
exactly.
from all over the world.
Yeah, I bet that maybe when they first started this project, they didn't thought that it could grow like so globally and so big.
Same as
huge
you.
event.
Same as you.
Yeah, I hope so.
Okay, and finally, do you have a fun fact for us that you could share?
Yeah, actually, I thought about that. I'm a person who likes to collect little stamps. When I travel around the world, and also coins, these euro coins with different like patterns at the back, and also I like to collect mini perfumes, like very tiny ones. Yeah, it's like my little hobby of collecting small things. Yeah.
So you're onto little things.
Yeah, little things. Yes.
That's cute.
Yeah,
And did you also collect perfumes from different parts of the world?
Yeah. Yes. I try to collect those, like especially vintage ones. Yeah. I really
Alright.
like to see. I have a little shelf that's putting all the.
That's very cute.
Yeah,
I love
very
to see
cute.
it.
Yes.
All right,
Yeah.
Chen, so thank you very much. We've
you.
reached the end of the episode, but it was great to share the time with you and
Thank
get
you.
to
You're
know
inspiring. Yes.
all the background of
Yeah.
what you do. So thank you. So see you next time, Splutters. So dear Splutters, this brings us to the very end of this episode of Efecto Cascada. It has been a true pleasure to have Kimberly Dickson and Chen Qu with us today, sharing their innovative work in music, technology, and education. So thank you very much for staying all the way till the very end and, join us from whichever part of the world you're based at. So remember that this podcast is available on all streaming platforms, starting from YouTube all the way to Spotify and Amazon Podcasts. So make sure you hit the subscribe button so you won't miss perhaps the future story that may inspire your projects. So until next time, Splutters, let's continue to captivate the amazing world of innovation together. See you.